To say, speaking of games, coming across the line on fire, Mr. Black, Overwatch, which I believe you attempted to play today. Or did you actually get around to trying to play it today?
I played a few games.
You actually got in?
I got in.
Wow! How long did it take? Were you playing something in the background while you were queuing, or did you actually get in?
I just queued in the background. Took like 4.5 hours to finally get in. And many failed attempts. Like I beat the queue boss like 4 or 5 times, but then there's like errors and they'll ask you to do the stuff with your account, and then when you do the stuff with your account, they make you jump back in queue again.
God.
It was a horrible experience, man. Like it's really, and then I played the game. It's Overwatch. That was it.
So like they did make a lot of changes. Like, I mean, there's 5 instead of 6 people per team now. There has been a lot of changes made for sure, but it still looks and plays like Overwatch. But for you, it felt like you were just diving right back into Overwatch 1.
The same thing. That's pretty. I don't have any other games. Game's gonna be Overwatch 1 dead in 3 weeks.
Okay. Now might be a month, depending on how long it takes them to get this queuing shit, because some people just can't even fucking play. I was literally about to say, does that include time for them to sort the queue out?
Man, that shit it's a heinous launch, man. It's bad.
So to expand upon Mr. Black's experience, which mimics much of what I have here in my notes, to say that their launch for this game has been rocky would be an understatement. And ignoring, not to say that they aren't there, but because they are, like Mr. Black was describing, ignoring the typical launch day bugs, which happens, to most live service games. Many never even got that far, as queues are in the tens of thousands, and kept most of the players out of the game entirely, thus far. Others were still locked out due to phone number requirements despite having owned Overwatch 1, and in some instances, users were told their phone numbers were already in use and couldn't get in altogether.
Yeah, I had that issue. I had to, for me to fix that, I had to log out of the actual Battle.net client that's on my computer that like automatically keeps me logged in, and then I had to go onto the website as well, and then log into my account through there, go under phone numbers, and basically refresh it, like almost remove the number and then put the number back, and then save it. Okay. And then relog back into the Blizzard client, and it worked. So I don't know if that's like a workaround or it was just I got lucky. I don't know.
Well, it sounds like it might be. However,
I don't know. I even tried making a secondary account and tried to use my phone number. They're like, your number's already in use, because before it was not letting me do it. So that's when I changed my password and I refreshed my phone number, and it worked.
Okay. Well, there you go. Hot pro tip from Mr. Black. Might work. However, it could have also just been... well, that wouldn't be serendipitous timing. I apologize. I'm getting ahead of myself. However, they are changing this a little bit. So, if you played Overwatch 1, like you have a Blizzard account, you played Overwatch 1, as Mr. Black would have, for example, in the past, and many people would have, and most people I would suspect that are playing Overwatch 2 right now are previously Overwatch 1 players, they are going to be removing the requirement for your phone number if you already had a Blizzard account that had been playing Overwatch 1. Because you technically, I guess, have already paid for the game, and so, like, that was kind of the fucking thing, and I think some of it's just to get people in as well and get around all this phone fucking bullshit. However, that's not going to be a thing until I think they said their hope is to launch that on Friday, so tomorrow, as of this podcast, tomorrow. And so if you are trying to get in and the phone number thing is giving you a hard time, then if you already played Overwatch 1, at least you have that. For everyone else, well, you're fucked if you don't have a phone number, and very specifically. So it's a phone number on a carrier with a plan. It ain't prepaid. You're not getting in with a prepaid phone number or anything like that. You have to very specifically, I mean, they need you to be all the way in. on that shit. And that was another bunch of reports that I saw this during the launch on social media. A lot of people that you know, they might have smartphones and everything, but they're just doing prepaid because they're not using their phone that frequently as a phone. They're using it on Wi-Fi and shit. They're not really using it in the sense where they're calling people or texting people via SMS. And so yeah, they were having a bit of issues with that as well. And it will be interesting to see how Blizzard, if at all, continues to go with this policy or modify it as they try and sort all of this stuff out. But for now, yeah, bit of a fucking mess. A lot of the problems, though, as well, are stemming from the fact that they had massive and continued, and I think it's still happening now, but I haven't checked today, massive and continued DDoS attacks. Right off the rip. Two really big ones right off the rip that had Blizzard's network team basically up the entire night post-launch trying to figure shit out and move and mitigate and resolve these attacks. And this is also, of course, unfortunately, common for some shit, especially games that have a lot of heat on them. And Overwatch has got a lot of heat on it in the last year. So does the company of Activision Blizzard. So I'm not shocked that DDoSing has been a major issue for them. That will eventually peter itself out, but it's definitely not helping an already fucking tire fire of a launch. And we'll have to wait and see just how long it takes, like Mr. Black said, before all this gets resolved, so we can see what is the shelf life of Overwatch 2. Let us know in the comment section below on YouTube. 3 weeks? 4 weeks? You getting optimistic? 6? 7? Let us know. Some of you might out there be like, hey, it's going to have a revival. And God bless you. God bless you. You know what, though? I shit on it, but honestly, I kind of miss Overwatch when it was really popular and it was new because it was fun. It hadn't been balanced into the ground yet, but it still felt good enough. I wasn't raging about balance all the time in the opening like 6 months of that game. And then it just slowly got more and more Blizzardized over time in terms of it's like everything has to be picture perfect, and in their attempt to make everything picture perfect, the game just slowly got more and more aggravating to play and more fucking toxic. And then of course we ended up with that long period of the meta build that never went away for like a fucking calendar year. And it was just awful and terrible, and so hopefully they've learned their lesson. But we'll have to wait for the game to run first. We'll find out.